what we shouldn't be doing is ever forgetting the sacrifice that was made by a whole generation of young people from this country. Although it's over 100 years now, we do remember, and I think the great symbol of the remembrance is the poppy. The poppy is very important that once a year that we remember the end of that horrendous war. There was a whole generation of young people left this country, and I'm sure going to France was a huge adventure for them, and I'm sure a lot of them left with a smile on their face for the adventure that they thought they were going to have in front of them. But within months of that, they were faced with the real horrors of what a modern industrial war could throw at them, and it was probably the first industrial war there's ever been in this world. So it's only when you go, and I've been lucky enough to go to some of the battlefields in the First World War, you see the extent of the cemeteries over there, the rows and rows of white stones, that you actually hits home the poignancy of it, that the sacrifice that whole generation of young people from this country gave was just incredible. And until you see the rows and rows of white stones, you just can't comprehend what that sacrifice was. So it does mean a lot to me. That time I took my mother over. She was looking for her uncle's name because he had no known grave at Ypres, and we found his name on the Menin Gate there, so that was some closure for her. It was one of our close relationships. So yeah, it does mean a lot to me, and I think it's important that we never forget the sacrifice that generation gave for this country. The pandemic affected almost every walk of life that we have. I think in the Remembrance parades that take place every year, obviously there was one or two that just never took place at all. I think having a close association with Poppy Scotland, we opened the event for them last Friday in the town hall there, and in their speech there, their income from poppy sales was down by a half, and the income that they get from poppies accounts for half of their income altogether. So if they're losing that amount of money, because they do employ ex-veterans to make the poppies and disabled veterans, so it keeps this employment going. But if we don't sell the poppies, then everyone suffers. So it's good to get back again to a normal where we can start to have the remembrance parades this year again. And I think it focuses people's minds on the sacrifice that these two generations gave, one in obviously 39-45 and the 14 to 18. So it's a pertinent reminder to everyone every November that this country has made large sacrifices for our freedom so we can sit here today and do this interview. And the pandemic had a real effect on that, and hopefully now we can get over that and start to get back to our remembrance services as we knew them.